Hi guys, Mulos here. So today's video, I'm just going to talk about some common tax mistakes businesses in Zambia make. It's not tax advice. I'm just sharing some things that I've seen during the course of my business and consulting. A lot of really small mistakes that people make. So this is just to help you out. It's not tax advice that you should go and base your tax planning on this. Always seek professional advice when you're doing your tax works. All right, so the first common mistake is people fail to find their TPIN details anywhere. You find that they try to register for a TPIN and then they are told, or they get a message that this NRC or this PACRA BRN is already registered for tax purposes. And people get confused, like, I've never applied for a TPIN. If you've ever bought property or ever bought a car, you most likely have a TPIN because those are requirements to get a car or to buy property. So you could have someone, a tax consultant or someone selling you the vehicle or anything could have registered you for a TPIN and then you just simply forgot. So it's very easy to find your TPIN, your taxpayer identification number. Just simply go to the, I prefer to use the computer. You can use the phones, but in my case, you're going to see my computer screen. You just go to the ZRA website, and you come here under registrations, just hover a little bit, then come here to taxpayer search. Then you can either search by your name, you can search by your TPIN or BRN, business registration number. If you're using your PACRA registration and you have got an old company, those PACRA certificate numbers have been superseded. They are now about 13 digit number. So you can go on PACRA website, search for your BRN, and then you can go to ZRA website, search for that. So once you put in either the name, the NRC, BRN, or whichever other details you have, you'll be able to find your TPIN number, or sorry, it's a TPIN because taxpayer identification number. So TPIN number is double. And you'll be able to find your TPIN, and then you can go to ZRA to request for a password reset. Now, when it comes to password reset, there are some really simple basics. One, ZRA does not just reset passwords because there are issues of frauds. I mean, someone could decide to reset your password, use your tax account to raise your tax bill or do other nefarious things. So if you're going to have your password reset, if it's an individual or a business name, if you're an individual, simply go there to any ZRA office. If you're in Lusaka, I recommend you go to the East Park Mall or Cosmopolitan Mall. They rarely have queues there. If you go to the main head office, you might find a bit of queues. If you're out of town, go to your nearest ZRA office. So once you go there, you need to go with your NRC, and there might be a standard form for you to fill. Give them your latest phone number and email, and then they'll be able to reset your password to that phone number and email. Make sure you give them the correct details. If you are an entrepreneur using a business name linked to your NRC, you need to go with your business certificate of registration, your NRC, and follow the same process. Your email and NRC, they'll reset. If you are a private company limited by shares or limited by guarantee, you need to go with a certificate of incorporation, the latest PACRA printout, and a letter on a letter-headed paper requesting for a password reset. State the phone number and email. So as you're dealing with ZRA, it's very common that people give the wrong phone number and the wrong email. So if you give those wrong things, your password reset will fail because they'll be being sent to that number or email. So make sure that you give the correct information. Okay, so now that is for people who have already had TPINs and need to search it or reset. Now what happens for new registrations? This one, there used to be an old problem. I remember, if you remember, there used to be the one-stop PACRA registrations where you register a business, NAPSA, and ZRA. That one was a very good idea, but sometimes good ideas are bad in the sense that they lead to problems down the line. People were registering their businesses at PACRA, getting a TPIN and NAPSA, and not being compliant. So you find that the time they did the tax amnesty, a lot of people found themselves with huge penalties simply because they were registered for VAT, pay-as-you-earn, turnover tax, income tax, and all manner of taxes, and they had not been submitting returns because they had registered a business which had never been operational. So ZRA sort of changed the process. Rather than registering people for a TPIN and a tax type, they now register you for a TPIN. So you just get your taxpayer identification number. Then you also get the login credentials, which are you able to log in, get a tax clearance certificate, and print your TPIN. This is for purposes of you need to open a bank account or you need to do whatever you need to do with it. And you haven't yet started business. But when you start business, you need to register for a tax type. So this is a very, very simple common mistake. You have registered for the business, you have gotten your TPIN, you've printed out your TPIN certificate, tax clearance certificate, and then you start operations without registering for a tax type. What happens here is that you are technically evading taxes. You can't pay tax on your TPIN unless it's property transfer tax or you're purchasing a vehicle. But if you're in business, you need to be registered for either turnover tax or income tax, depending on the volume of business, whether it's self-registration in income tax and the likes. So if you actually do start business, then you need to register for a tax type. Turnover tax is really, really low tax, guys. It's 4% of what you make. A lot of people try by all means to dodge taxes, but 4% is one of the lowest taxes you'll find anywhere. If you're making 1,000 kwacha, sorry, my mental maths has gone, and then also I don't want to embarrass myself doing wrong mental maths. So 4% of 1,000 kwacha is 40 kwacha. So if you make 10,000 kwacha per month and you're reporting your taxes, that's only 400 kwacha. So would you want to incur penalties and the likes over a 4% tax? I hope you do not. Then the other thing which happens is that you've got a TPIN registered without a tax type, and then you start bidding for business. The goodness is a lot of people in Zambia don't read, but the day they start reading, they'll be going through your TPIN certificate, and then they'll notice that you're registered for a TPIN, but you're not registered for a tax type. Now imagine you're bidding for government business, or even with ZRA, and then they notice that you're bidding for this business minus a tax type. You are technically tax evading, and you could find yourself in problems. So as soon as you are starting business, register for a tax type. And the other thing which is there is a very, very simple common mistake. If you're registered for NAPSA, you're even paying your NAPSA returns, and all your employees are getting below 4,700 kwacha. A lot of times people assume that you do not need to register for pay as you earn unless the salaries are above 4,700 kwacha, which is very, very wrong. You will not pay as you earn on salaries below 4,700 kwacha, but you are liable for skills development levy. It's a really, really, really small tax to pay. And then also the government and ZRA use pay-as-you-earn returns to be able to generate statistics on people in employment, their salaries, and other conditions of service. So in case you are a business operating, you've got employees, make sure that you are registered for a tax type, and then also make sure that you are registered for pay-as-you-earn. Then the last thing is on VAT. A lot of times you're a small business, you're doing simple supply and all, then one big client comes and says, would you like to supply to me? Or you get hooked up to a big company, and that company wants you to be VAT registered. And then you register for VAT, but things go south, you don't actually supply them, and you're not submitting VAT returns, or you're just doing nil returns. It's really, really incorrect to just be submitting nil returns. If your business is incurring VAT costs in your input VAT, you need to report those to ZRA. Reason being, VAT is a two-way reporting. The buyer and seller both reports. So if you are the buyer and you're not reporting, the seller is reporting, it means that automatically ZRA will have your TPIN details and know that you are not reporting when they reconcile the seller's TPIN, when they reconcile the seller's VAT account. And then also, if you are the seller and you're not reporting, the buyer will be reporting. So you could be caught out when the buyer reports and you don't. So whether or not you have got VAT sales, if you've got VAT purchases, please report. If you've got no VAT sales, please report. So make sure that you also don't register for VAT unless you absolutely have to. In case you don't know, in Zambia, our tax authorities, they're actually really, really helpful. One of the main problems when people go there is they ask the wrong questions. They assume that the people behind the counter are telepathic and will know what they're actually asking about and not. So make sure if you go to ZRA to inquire, make sure you are as articulate as possible. You make sure you are as detailed as possible, and don't assume that the terminologies that you know are the correct terminology. So try to speak in simple phrases and language so that you are easily understood, your problem is easily resolved. Most of the times I've seen ZRA issues are easily resolved as long as you just communicate properly and don't make any assumptions. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I look forward to your comments. Mulos, bye.